everyone, welcome to our CISSP study group. I'm B-Dubs. I'm super excited to see you all here. Whether you're looking to take the CISSP exam soon, you're here to expand your knowledge, or you already have your CISSP and you're just here to support us. Thank you all for being here. Last week, I released a 13-minute video that is a high-level overview of the exam domains, requirements, ISC² ethics, and study tips. I'm going to drop the link for that video now in case you missed it. I'll do my best to keep these sessions from being a death by PowerPoint. However, you can go to cissp.brittwhite.io to submit any feedback. I'll use this feedback to improve future sessions. I want to know your thoughts and opinions so I can support you all in the best way possible. Today we're going to kick off our deep dive into Domain 1, Security and Risk Management. Specifically, we'll be tackling objectives 1.1 and 1.2, which cover professional ethics and core security concepts. This is the foundational stuff, so you should really pay close attention. This is not just about memorizing facts to pass the exam. It's about becoming a better, more well-rounded, and ethically grounded security professional. This domain forms the foundation of everything else you'll learn during our 15 weeks together. After this presentation on YouTube, we're all going to move over to the Study GRC Discord voice channel that we have dedicated for the CISSP study group. There we'll be able to continue the discussion and answer any questions you have. Before we jump into the specific objectives, I really want to emphasize something absolutely crucial. And this is the mindset shift you'll need for your CISSP journey. The exam, and of course the entire CISSP profession, isn't just about technical wizardry. It's not just about knowing how to configure firewalls or write intrusion detection rules. It's about understanding security from that management perspective. Think of it like you're looking at the big forest, and not just the individual trees. You need to see the big picture. So the first thing to keep in mind is this: to pass the exam and also to grow as a security professional, you must first understand security from the management point of view, rather than a purely technical one. We're not just the tech people in the basement with hoodies on. We're strategic partners to the business. And that leads me to my second key point. Always focus on helping the organization achieve its goals and objectives. Security isn't a separate entity. It's a support function that enables the business to succeed. We're not here to say no all the time. We're here to find secure ways to say yes. We're not just building fortresses, we're enabling growth, innovation, and protecting the value that the organization creates. Keep that business-centric mindset both throughout your studies and your career. Here's a quick overview of what Domain 1 encompasses. We're going to learn how to assess and manage risk and the key processes involved in risk analysis. That's absolutely critical. We'll dive deep into the CIA Triad: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. We'll explore core organization roles and how they relate to security, from the CEO down to the newest hire. We'll also get into corporate laws, which are essentially policies, and we'll cover the key factors of governance and compliance and how security helps by being aligned with and contributing to each of those. We'll also discuss the important difference between accountability and responsibility. They're not the same thing. And remember, we're focusing on the management side of things. It's not just about doing the security tasks, it's also about thinking strategically about security. How do we think about risk? How do we think about protecting our assets? How do we align security with the overall business strategy? That's what this domain is going to focus on. We're going to cover a lot of ground in this domain, but today we're only focusing on these first two objectives. All right, let's get right into the meat of it all, starting with the foundation of our profession, ethics. And I can't stress this enough. This isn't just some fluffy, feel-good, optional add-on. This is essential. It's the moral compass that guides everything we do. As information security professionals, it's absolutely critical that we uphold the highest ethical standards in our work. It's not just a nice to have, it's a must have. This helps ensure that we protect sensitive data and systems in a responsible and trustworthy manner. We're the guardians of information, and that comes with a huge responsibility. The ISC² Code of Ethics outlines the key principles that we must adhere to. These include confidentiality, integrity, and availability, the famous CIA Triad, as well as the additional pillars of authenticity and non-repudiation. We'll be breaking down what each of these means and how they apply to our daily work. So this is objective 1.1. Understand, adhere to, and promote professional ethics. The core of professional ethics for CISSP holders is the ISC² Code of Ethics. This code outlines 4 key principles or canons that you must adhere to. Canon 1. Protect society, the common good, necessary public trust and confidence, and the infrastructure. Protecting society. This means prioritizing public well-being and the safety of infrastructure over our own personal interests or even the interests of our employer. The greater good always comes first. For example, imagine a security professional discovering a vulnerability in a city's traffic light system, but choosing not to report it because their company is bidding on a contract to upgrade the system. That's a violation of putting personal company gain over public safety. Canon 2. Act honorably, honestly, justly, responsibly, and legally. Acting with integrity. This means being honorable, honest, just, responsible, and legal in all of our actions. No cutting corners, no bending the rules. We do things the right way. A security consultant inflating their credentials or exaggerating their experience to win a contract would be a clear example of a lack of integrity. Then we have Canon 3. Provide diligent and competent service to principals. Providing competent service. This means only undertaking tasks that are within your expertise. Don't pretend to know something you don't. And it also means maintaining your skills and staying current with the ever-evolving threat landscape. For instance, a security administrator attempting to configure a complex firewall system they're not trained on, potentially creating vulnerabilities instead of fixing them, violates this canon. Canon 4. Advance and protect the profession. Advancing the profession. This means contributing to the field of information security through ethical conduct, sharing your knowledge, mentoring others, and generally promoting best practices. A senior security professional refusing to mentor junior colleagues or sharing known vulnerabilities only within a closed group instead of the broader security community would be a violation. Ethical conduct is absolutely critical, and it must be promoted in everything we do and the environment we create as security professionals. It's not just about following the rules, it's about fostering a culture of trust and responsibility. I encourage you all to go to the ISC² website and read the full Code of Ethics document. I'll drop the link in chat now for you. It's important to note that these canons are listed in priority order and must be followed accordingly. Public well-being and safety, Canon 1, takes priority over all the other canons. When facing an ethical dilemma where multiple canons apply, you should always prioritize the highest canon on the list. This approach ensures consistent ethical decision-making across the profession. On the exam, if you encounter a question with conflicting ethical considerations, select the answer that aligns with the highest priority canon. Before we even get to the 4 canons, there's the Preamble to the ISC² Code of Ethics. This is like the mission statement that sets the tone for everything else, and it's important. You need to read and study the full Preamble on your own, but these are the key points. The safety and welfare of society and the common good, duty to our principals and to each other, requires that we adhere and be seen to adhere to the highest ethical standards of behavior. Let that sink in. Our duty is to society, to each other, and to the highest ethical standards. We're not just protecting networks and data, we're protecting people. And then it gets even more serious. Therefore, strict adherence to this code is a condition of certification. This isn't optional. If you want to be a CISSP, you must abide by this code. It's a non-negotiable requirement, and you can definitely expect to see a question or two about it on the exam. So why does this code of ethics and ethics in general matter so much in the real world? Why do organizations need a formal code of ethics? Ethics are about doing nothing that is harmful to anyone else. It's about acting with respect and responsibility. But this comes with a challenge. For organizations to have consistent ethics, those ethics must be codified. They need to be written down, clearly defined, and that's where corporate laws or policies come into play. They provide a shared framework for ethical behavior. Ethical behavior promotes a good and secure working environment. I mean, it makes sense, right? People want to work at a place that shares similar ethical values. The best way to prescribe, promote, and instill consistent ethical behavior is through the use of corporate rules or policies. We need clear guidelines or everyone would be lost. Policies must be legal, obviously, and following and promoting these must start with senior management. It has to be a top-down commitment, consistently communicated to everyone in the organization. It's not enough to just have the policies. They need to be actively enforced and lived out. Now let's see how these ethical principles translate into practical security concepts. Remember, ethical behavior is the why, and these concepts are the how. This part falls under Objective 1.2, Understand and Apply Security Concepts. Remember, security's primary role is to support the business goals and objectives. We enable success. Rather than being the no police, we create value by protecting assets, reducing risk, and improving operational efficiency. Today's security should be fully integrated into the business processes, not an afterthought. Ultimately, we are more than just a cost center. We serve as a support function that helps the organization generate revenue. Now let's dig into these core concepts. We'll start with the famous CIA Triad, and then we'll expand on that. Confidentiality ensures only authorized individuals can access sensitive information. It's about keeping your secrets a secret. Integrity maintains data accuracy and trustworthiness, ensuring what you rely on hasn't been tampered with. Availability provides reliable, timely access to resources when needed, because downtime is the enemy. While confidentiality, integrity, and availability, the CIA Triad, form the core, the modern security landscape has grown to add two additional crucial concepts: authenticity and non-repudiation. Authenticity verifies the source is genuine, preventing impersonation. Think of it as confirming you're really talking to who you think you're talking to. It builds trust in where information comes from. Non-repudiation creates accountability by ensuring people can't deny their actions. It provides undeniable proof of who did what, making sure everyone stands behind their digital activities. These core security concepts form the foundation for building secure environments to protect information and systems. They're the pillars that hold everything up. Let's dive deeper into confidentiality. This is the first pillar and the C in the CIA Triad. Confidentiality is about protecting sensitive information from unauthorized access or disclosure, keeping secrets a secret. It ensures that sensitive information is only accessible to authorized individuals. It protects personal details, financial records, trade secrets, and other information that could be harmful if compromised. Without proper confidentiality measures, organizations risk data breaches, leaks, and unauthorized access. Breaches can then lead to identity theft, financial loss, reputational damage, or loss of customer trust, and legal penalties. Have you ever thought about how much personal information is stored online? What would happen if that information was compromised? Think of confidentiality like a personal diary. You wouldn't want someone reading your private thoughts without your permission. The same principle applies to sensitive data. Tools to maintain confidentiality include encryption, access control lists, data loss prevention systems, and strong password policies. Encryption basically scrambles your data into an unreadable format that can only be unlocked with the right key. Think of it like a secret handshake between you and your best friend that nobody else knows. Maintaining confidentiality is essential for protecting your sensitive information and preserving trust from involved stakeholders and consumers. Moving on to integrity, the I in the CIA Triad. Integrity ensures that data and systems are accurate, complete, and trustworthy by preventing tampering, corruption, or unauthorized alterations to data. Integrity is critical to ensuring that information can be trusted. It's about maintaining the accuracy and completeness of data. Can you imagine the consequences of a bank's database having its integrity compromised? What if your account balance was suddenly changed? If integrity is compromised, the information becomes unreliable and untrustworthy. This can lead to serious consequences, such as financial errors, incorrect decisions, system failures, and even safety hazards. Integrity ensures that data, like a bank transaction or a software update, remains exactly as intended. A good example is when you have signed a contract. If someone changes the terms of the contract after you've signed it without your knowledge, the contract is no longer reliable. Integrity mechanisms like checksums, digital signatures, version control systems, and hashing algorithms act as seals to detect unauthorized changes. These techniques allow you to verify that data hasn't been altered. If the seal is broken, it alerts you to tampering. It's like a tamper-evident seal on a medicine bottle. Have you ever encountered a situation where data integrity was compromised? Maintaining integrity is essential for preserving the trustworthiness of critical information across various applications and systems. Now we have the A in the CIA Triad, availability. Availability is about ensuring that authorized users can access the information or systems they need, when they need them. This involves putting safeguards in place to protect against disruptions, like hardware failures, software bugs, power outages, natural disasters, and cyber attacks like ransomware, or anything that could make data unavailable or prevent access to it. If a system isn't available, it can grind critical tasks to a halt, causing inconvenience, lost productivity, financial losses, and even danger in some cases, like in healthcare or critical infrastructure. A simple example would be if a library's online catalog system crashes. You can't get the books you need. It's a disruption to service. Or if we think about it in a hospital setting, if the electronic health record system becomes unavailable during an emergency, doctors can't access patient medical histories, current medications, or allergies, potentially leading to dangerous treatment decisions. Or if medical imaging systems are down, diagnosis may be delayed, surgeries postponed, and emergency care compromised, directly affecting patient outcomes. Availability ensures that systems like websites, databases, email servers, or critical applications are always up and running for authorized users. Redundancy and backups are key to protecting availability. Organizations use backup servers, redundant network connections, cloud storage, load balancing, and robust incident response and business continuity plans to ensure that data is still accessible, even if one system fails. It's about always having a plan B and a plan C. Now remember, in information security, there are two additional pillars in addition to the CIA Triad. The first of these is authenticity. Authenticity is critical to prevent impersonation and ensure that data comes from a legitimate source. It's about verifying identities. Without authenticity, attackers could pretend to be someone else, leading to fraud, unauthorized access, the spread of misinformation, and all sorts of other problems. A passport is a good example of authenticity in the physical world. It proves your identity when you're traveling. It verifies that you are who you claim to be, like a passport. Authenticity ensures that the person logging into your email or the website you're visiting is genuinely you, and not someone pretending to be you. Methods like passwords, biometrics, fingerprint scans, facial recognition, and two-factor or multi-factor authentication confirm identity, just like showing an ID in the physical world. Multi-factor authentication uses a combination of multiple factors. Something you know, like a password, something you have, like a security token or phone, and something you are, like a fingerprint. These techniques verify that users, devices, or systems are who or what they claim to be. It's about establishing trust. The last of these 5 pillars of information security is non-repudiation. Non-repudiation is a critical security concept that ensures accountability by preventing someone from denying their actions. It's about making sure people can't weasel out of their responsibilities or claim they didn't do something they actually did. It provides proof of who did what and when, which is vital for legal trust and purposes. It's about creating a verifiable record of actions. This is crucial for maintaining trust and ensuring that individuals are held responsible for their online behavior. Without non-repudiation, we introduce several risks. First, accountability becomes impossible when users can simply deny their actions. It's like if someone could sign a contract and later claim, "Oh, well, that wasn't me." How could you enforce any agreement? Second, legal and regulatory compliance becomes extremely challenging. Many regulations require proof of who performs specific actions, especially when you're handling sensitive data. Third, trust in our digital systems gradually erodes. If actions can't be definitively traced to individuals, how can we trust the integrity of any digital transaction? And finally, you start to burn bridges when your business relationships deteriorate because commitments can be easily denied. Imagine trying to maintain partnerships when agreements can be denied without consequence. For example, a digital signature on a contract or an email links the action to the sender and then prevents them from later claiming that they didn't agree to the terms or send the message. It's like a legally binding signature in the digital world. Think of it as a way to create an undeniable link between an action and the person or entity that performed it. Non-repudiation provides proof that a specific action, like sending an email, happened and shows who was responsible for it. Tools like digital signatures and audit logs help create a record to prove that actions actually occurred and who was responsible. A digital signature on an email links it to the sender, while audit logs track user activity, system events, and other important information, providing a detailed history that can be used for investigation, compliance, and troubleshooting. These are like the receipts, proving a transaction occurred. Non-repudiation is essential for establishing trust and preventing people from avoiding the consequences of their digital activities. It's about creating a culture of accountability, where actions have consequences, and those consequences can be traced back to the responsible party. So why do we talk about these 5 pillars together? Why are they so important as a group? It's not just a random collection of security terms. They have a complementary relationship. These 5 pillars of information security work together as a unified team to create a comprehensive security framework. They're not isolated concepts. They're interconnected and interdependent. Think of it like a chain. It's only as strong as its weakest link. If one pillar is weak, the entire security posture is compromised. Confidentiality keeps information private. Integrity ensures data accuracy. Availability makes information accessible. Authenticity confirms identities. And non-repudiation holds people accountable. Each pillar plays a vital role and they reinforce each other. Each pillar strengthens the others, creating a robust and resilient security system that protects information from multiple angles and threats. It's like a layered defense. If one layer is breached, The others are still there to provide protection. This comprehensive approach is crucial in today's complex threat landscape. So let's take a look at some real-world scenarios to understand how these pillars work together in practice. This will help you see how these aren't just abstract concepts. They're vital for protecting information in everyday situations. First, consider healthcare. Security in healthcare is absolutely critical to protect patient records. Think about all the sensitive information contained in those records. Medical history, diagnosis, test results, insurance information. It's a treasure trove of personal data. These records must be confidential and accessible only to authorized staff to protect patient privacy and comply with regulations like HIPAA. They must maintain integrity because accurate information is essential for proper treatment and diagnosis. And they must remain available, especially in emergencies. When doctors and nurses need immediate access to patient data to make life-saving decisions, these pillars are crucial in healthcare and ensure both patient privacy and safety. A breach in any one of these areas could have devastating consequences. Now let's think about e-commerce. When you shop online, authenticity is key. You need to verify the legitimacy of the website you're using to make sure it's not a phishing site or a fake storefront designed to steal your credit card information. You want to be sure you're dealing with a legitimate business. And non-repudiation provides proof of your purchases. You want a record of your transaction, and the merchant needs a record to prove you authorized the purchase. These principles protect both customers and businesses in digital transactions. Without these protections, online shopping would be far too risky. These security pillars protect our digital world, from personal devices to global businesses, banking to social media, the government systems to critical infrastructure. They work silently behind the scenes everywhere we interact with technology. Together, they form the foundation of our secure digital environment, ensuring our data remains protected, reliable, and available when needed. Without these principles, our increasingly connected lives would be dangerously exposed. Now let's look at a framework that helps us implement and manage many of the principles we've discussed today. AAA is a security framework that helps organizations to manage network access. Think of it as the who, what, and when of access control. It's a fundamental concept in network security and plays a crucial role in implementing the 5 pillars of information security. AAA stands for authentication, authorization, and accounting. 3 key steps for controlling access and tracking activity in information security systems. Authentication is about proving who you are. It's the first step. It's like entering a PIN at an ATM to confirm that you're the legitimate account holder. You're proving your identity before you can access your funds. This directly relates to the authenticity pillar. Authorization is about deciding what you're allowed to do after you've been authenticated. It's about defining your privileges. For example, a company may grant all employees access to the corporate intranet, but limit access to financial records to only those in the accounting department. It's about granting the appropriate level of access based on your roles and responsibilities. This ties into confidentiality and integrity, ensuring only authorized users can access and modify specific data. Accounting, often referred to as auditing, is about keeping detailed records of activities and access. It's about tracking who did what and when. For example, a company might log when employees access sensitive files to maintain accountability and detect any unauthorized activity. It's like creating a paper trail, or in our case, a digital trail. This is directly linked to non-repudiation. We're going to dive into AAA in greater detail later in the study group. I just want to briefly introduce the concepts now, showing how it relates to the 5 pillars. Before we finish today, there's one more crucial distinction we need to make, and it's a big topic on the CISSP exam: the difference between accountability and responsibility. These terms are often incorrectly used interchangeably in our everyday conversations, but in security, they have real distinct meanings. So what's the difference? Accountability means being held answerable for actions and their consequences. It's about who is ultimately answerable for the outcome, regardless of who performed the task. Think of this person as the captain of the ship. Responsibility, on the other hand, means being obligated to perform a task or duty. It's about who is tasked with doing the work. For example, a security architect might be responsible for designing a firewall configuration according to best practices. They're the ones doing the hands-on work. However, the Chief Information Security Officer is accountable for the overall security posture of the organization, including the effectiveness of that firewall. If the firewall fails and there's a breach, the CISO is ultimately accountable, even though they didn't personally configure the firewall. The important part to remember here is that accountability cannot be delegated. You can delegate responsibility or assign tasks to others, but the person who is accountable remains accountable for the outcome. Another way to think about it is that accountability is often associated with roles, like the CISO or data owner. Responsibility, on the other hand, is often associated with specific tasks. Understanding this difference is crucial for understanding the security governance and how roles and responsibilities are defined within an organization. Now, with that important distinction clear, let's wrap things up and bring it all together. We've covered a lot of ground today, from ethical principles to core security concepts. The conclusion here is that professional ethics and the security concepts we've discussed, confidentiality, integrity, availability, authenticity, and non-repudiation, are the foundation of information security. They're not just theoretical ideas. They're the guiding principles that shape how we approach security in practice. These principles guide security practitioners to act with integrity while protecting data and systems. They're the ethical compass and the technical toolkit that we use every day. They are the essential tools that empower security professionals like you and me to safeguard our digital world. They ensure both technical excellence, knowing how to implement security controls, and ethical responsibility, knowing why we're doing it and doing it the right way. Information security is not just about technical skills. It's not just about configuring firewalls or writing code. It's also about upholding ethical standards, acting with integrity, and having a strong moral compass to truly secure our digital world. It's about protecting people, businesses, and society as a whole. And that wraps up today's topics. Remember to review the ISC² Code of Ethics and really think about how those 5 security pillars apply in different scenarios. Now I want to open the floor for discussion and answer any questions you have. I've decided to do this in a space where everyone feels comfortable sharing, so this part will not be recorded. If you're watching this live, I'm heading over now to the voice channel we have set up in the Study GRC Discord, and where we will meet after each live study session. If you're not in the Discord yet, you can go to cissp.britwhite.io for the Discord link. And don't forget to grab your CISSP role when you join. Next time, we'll continue Domain 1, Security and Risk Management, during our live session on Saturday, March 8th at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in Discord.